What's up everyone? So far Sarah Beth has done a fantastic job of covering up the fact that she is a forensic scientist, but somebody may have cracked it. We've got so much to talk about, guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, the day has arrived of the 6th eviction of Big Brother 23. I'm going to throw it to you guys straight away. It's essentially a vote real quick. Who do you want to become the brand new head of household tonight? Let me know in the comment section. You can tell me who you want it to be. If you want, you can tell me why you want it to be that person, because who you think they're going to nominate, anything like that. I'm just curious on who's going to get the most votes, on who you would like to become head of household tonight. Big D was talking to Sarah Beth and he kind of implied that he got in trouble the night before for not campaigning. That would be on Tuesday night. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I think it kind of implies production maybe said, Big D, you need to start campaigning right now. But the fact that he got in trouble sounds like it was a little bit worse. I don't know, but either way, I would imagine we're going to see Big D kick his campaign a little more into gear, a little more than nothing, because he's been doing nothing. I do really like Big D though. He is so funny. Like, he is one of the most entertaining people we've had on Big Brother in a while. Not game wise, but entertainment wise, he's fantastic. And he was brilliant on Otev last night. I just respected the hustle. You know what I mean? Like, he tried and tried and tried. He didn't get up. He got to the top of Otev, and although he got eliminated first, I respect the hustle. I salute you, Big D. So yeah, anyway, it sounds like he got in trouble slightly, which probably is going to mean his campaigning is probably going to take a bit more in play, even though it's, you know, he doesn't really need to, because Brittany's very likely going to be heading out the door. Big D's campaigning is very likely going to start today, or not necessarily start, but kind of the majority of it will take place today. Tiffany and Xavier were discussing who the new head of household should become, and they were basically saying that it should be either one of them two, or Hannah, or even Claire, and then they would go on to put up Kyland and Sarah Beth on the block. So obviously Tiffany has shown week in, week out, she really wants Sarah Beth out, and I think she wants this to be the week where that comes true. But where that kind of stops is the fact that there's a monkey wrench in the works, is the fact that Xavier would not be doing that. He has vocalised, he said to, his wordplay is quite good. He said to Derek X, I'm not going to nominate you. That doesn't mean he's going to re-nom him. So he could easily just put two people on the block, whoever that may be. And then he's clearly going to want to put Derek X up as the backdoor plan, or the replacement nom, to try and take him out of the game. And DX realises that. He said he full-on realises. Xavier said he's not going to nominate me, but he didn't say, you know, I'm not going to backdoor you. But I guess you could argue it both ways and say nominate could be either backdoor or first. But I think it's the way he phrased it. He kind of said, no, you're not going to be. I don't think he straight up said nominated at first, because that would have given it away. But there's always ways around, little technicalities on Big Brother where you can say certain things and get away with certain things. The next monkey wrench in the works, moving on from that, is Claire. Claire is not going to put Kyland and Sarah Beth on the block. I wouldn't imagine so anyway. Her and Derek X have started to put their heads together and realise that there is the Cookout. They haven't said it's the Cookout, or they haven't said these people are working together, as I've discussed for a few days now. They've been dancing around the idea that there is this group, and they want to put a crack right in the centre of it. So Claire and Derek X have both said if they win head of household, you would think Derek X would be swayed by Hannah, and you'd think Claire would be swayed by Tiffany, but I don't think so. Those two are rock solid, it seems, this week, and they are both going to be putting up Kyland and Xavier on the block. That would be a big hit and a big move. So that would be really interesting to see, because obviously that would throw a wrench in the works of the alliance that seems to be kind of dominating so far, or looking to be steamrolling very soon. And I must say they're doing it in a marvellous way. I would say they have done it a lot better than previous alliances have in the past year, like in the past couple of years, like the committee or the Six Shooters, because usually there's cracks within those, and yes, there's cracks within the Cookout, but nothing where people have full on gone, this is the Six and we're kind of just all going to get picked off one by one. There's only suspicions that there's a group. Nobody's kind of gone, yep, that's the happening there. Because, I mean, last year people knew, yep, there's the committee, you know, we've got Memphis, we've got Cody, we've got Dan, you know, and they just listed all these people, and they realised they were going to get picked off one by one. Six Shooters, equally, Cliff and Nicole realised they were on the outside. They made the right deals, though, and got themselves to the final four. And the difference with the Cookout this year is nobody's actually gone, that's happening there. Yes, like I said, DX and Claire have had suspicions, but nobody's gone, bang, that's them. So I've got to take my hat off to them and say it's very impressive that they've done that. However, DX and Claire, I think, want to counteract that and realise that it's not good to just get picked off, and we're not going to do what the dominant side wants, or the majority side wants, or what they believe to be the majority side. They're actually going to say, hell no, we want to get ourselves to the end, and we're going to put up Kyland and Xavier on the block if we win HOH. So there was one point in the day where Claire brought up the fact that she saw Sarah Beth in a lab coat, and people were going on, on social media. Everyone was going, "What? How did she see this? This is crazy. Has production shown her it?" No. So basically, on night one, I don't think anybody realised this until yesterday, when they, send them in groups of 4. They had they had their pictures up on the wall from their VT packages from their introduction videos, and Tiffany had her lab coat on, and they were all in their environment, I guess, of what they do, and Sarah Beth had a lab coat on, and obviously she's kind of covered this up and said she's a voice actress and she's a voiceover artist, all that sort of stuff. So Claire was the only person who picked up on that, and I think now she's obviously, that's going to put listen, all Claire has to do is go speak to Tiffany and say, or Tiffany has to roll with that idea in her head, and because Tiffany's already incriminated Sarah Beth quite a lot this series or this season, so now that she's got that information, she can say she's lying about a job, making another big target on Sarah Beth's back as forensic scientist, or just scientist of that nature in a lab coat, is a lot different job than a voiceover artist. So I'll be interested to see what Tiffany does with this information. Boozy times arrived in the Big Brother house, guys. Obviously, it's the jury phase now, so everybody's made there. So there was a celebration, lots of good food, booze, cake. Oh, gotta love some cake and some boozy times. Just epic times. So they had like a cake with everybody's face on, and they didn't really eat that much of it. They ate Brent and Whitney's face, as weird as that sounds, and then they left the rest of the cake to not eat. And then more vote talk obviously happened, and then it was talk of, okay, what's the vote going to be tomorrow night? And it kind of was like, at the moment it sounds like a 7-1 vote, sending Brittany out the door, Arza being the one vote for Brittany's sympathy. But Arza also acknowledged, and I respect this a lot, because Arza recently hasn't really been shown to be adept at the social game, but she realised that there's been talk of Derek X, Claire and Tiffany switching things over to Big D, forcing a tie, making Kyland the bad guy and evicting Brittany. So Arza in that case kind of said, I am not going to throw that sympathy vote if that's the case. But personally, I think it would make sense for Arza to do that. If Arza threw the sympathy vote and then Claire, Derek X and Tiffany did the other 3, that would make Kyland the bad guy, like we said. And Kyland, what did he do last week in the Knockout Head of Household competition? He put Arza and Big D up first. And what did Arza say in the diary room? That was very revealing. I've realised I'm on the bottom of the cookout now. So surely Arza, it would make sense for her to kind of get one back on Kyland and do the sympathy vote and send it to a tie and make Kyland the bad guy. That would totally make more sense. I mean, I don't know if it's a case of, she's trying to protect Brittany's feelings or anything like that, by giving her false hope of the 4-4. But I think she realised at this point, Brittany's gone. Well, she definitely realises Brittany's gone. So why don't you just make most of that and kind of put the target on somebody else's back rather than continuing to play a bit mediocre? I would be very impressed if Arza took that opportunity and did that, and I'd respect that as a game move. Claire was working on Hannah, trying to persuade her to vote for Brittany to stay. And again, another thing where I've got to take my hat off to Claire, because it's very reminiscent of previous years in Big Brother. I've talked about this frequently and saying, we've seen so many times where the nominees themselves won't even do anything when they're on the block. Whereas this year, we're actually seeing people who aren't even on the block campaigning for what's best for their game. That is something we haven't seen for a while, in my opinion. So I've got to have respect for Claire for that, because it seems a lot of the time it's kind of everybody that's off the block does what the house wants, and the nominees, maybe one of them tries to campaign to stay and one of them does nothing. In this case, Brittany's campaigning, doing one thing, Big D's doing nothing, and Big D's likely going to stay. But Claire equally is kind of campaigning on the side. Derek X is doing a little bit as well. I've got to respect that. They're not just lying down and going, okay. They're actively saying, okay, we realise Brittany's very likely going this week, but it doesn't harm to try and, do the old switcheroo and try and do something. So massive props to them for actually trying that. Kyland got very emotional towards the end of the evening, saying that, he just struggles with the game sometimes, and evictions are the most messed up part of the game. And, whilst it's easy for us on the outside to go, oh, it's Big Brother, you signed up for it, we don't know what it's like to be in there, guys. And you've seen me constantly stick up for people who get emotional in there, because we truly don't. Everybody deals with different situations in different ways. So honestly, I'm sending nothing but good vibes towards Kyland. Arza was there comforting him and saying, look, I'm the biggest crier in this house, you're going to be okay, all that reassurance. It was nice to see that, because Arza and Kyland, what have we seen previously? They're going They're button heads. They're going head to head. But to see them push that aside and be there for one another, that was really, really nice. And like I said, I've got time for every single damn house guest in that house, because this has truly been an incredible, and I say been, you know, we're only halfway through the season, but this is an incredibly likable cast, and all par, maybe, you know, all bar one or two, I would say. No, honestly, there's been good qualities about nearly everyone, but I would say, you know, Kyland seems like a really, really nice guy. Listen, he does seem like a great guy. And for him getting emotional, honestly, I'm sending nothing but good vibes his way and hoping that he feels better over the next couple of days. Obviously, he's not going to be the head of household come tomorrow night because somebody else, or tonight because somebody else will be crowned. But you know, I think it was an interesting reign of Kylan's. I would say his first reign was a lot more successful, but still, he got through this one, and I would likely say he's got his target out. Whether it was a good target or not, he's likely going to get his target out, making it kind of, I guess you could argue, 2 successful HOHs. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. How are you feeling about tonight, folks? Would you like to see Brittany leave the doors or Big D leave the doors? Who would you like to see become the first member of the Big Brother Season 23 jury? And on the flippity flip, as Michael Scott would say, who would you like to see become head of household tonight? Who would you like to see rise to power and control the next week? There is so much to talk about, folks, so let me know in the comment section below how you are feeling about this season and what your hopes are for tonight and the upcoming week. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single last one of you and your support. It just means the damn world to me, so thank you. Sending good vibes to you all. But folks, I'll say as I always do. Make sure you're staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there, and be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.